Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. All right, guys, so today I want to talk about the fact that you absolutely must avoid mistakes on your first couple of dates. One little mistake will blow you out of the water. Remember, this woman does not love you yet. You say one little wrong thing, and she's going to run back to her friends. Ha 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 ha, this idiot said this, and you're out. You won't get a second date. So we must absolutely avoid mistakes on our first date and our second and our third date. And you can make mistakes once a woman is falling in love with you and not until then. And another important thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that one of the keys to this process is having options, is having other women. So, if you're not obsessed on one woman, you're less likely to make mistakes. You'll be more relaxed, more easygoing, and that's what you really need to build interest level. Okay, so like I said, one flip and you were out. I talked about the past many years ago. Before I developed my system, I was on this great date with this gal. It was going great. I thought it was going great. Stupid me, though, I mentioned that I had quit drinking and that I was a recovering alcoholic. Now, I haven't had a drink in 35 years, but the word alcoholic is going to raise red flags. Don't do that. Don't talk about your failed relationships. Don't talk about deeply personal issues. That's why we keep the first dates light and funny. That's also why we do action dates. We don't like to do dinner dates where you're sitting there for an hour and a half staring at each other, and that dramatically increases the chance that you're going to say something stupid. If we do action dates, the mall, miniature golfing, bowling, just meeting for coffee, keeping the date quick, we greatly reduce our chance that we're going to make mistakes. So you must not make mistakes on these early dates. The way we do that is we deflect discussions of personal issues. And what I would always do is I would always turn it back on her and try and get her to discuss her personal issues. So we give information sparingly, okay? A woman will ask you, oh, what do you do? Lots of guys like to go into this tirade about how great their job is and how important they are. Don't do that, guys. Let her wonder. Women used to ask me, what do you do? I was teaching either at a 4-year university or I was teaching at a community college. I don't come out and say, oh, I'm a college professor. What I would say was, oh, I corrupt the youth. She's like, what does that mean? I go, well, I corrupt the youth of America. I teach them, to question authority and to be rebellious. And she would push me. Finally, I'm like, all right, I'm a college professor, right? Don't give that information. Sometimes I would joke around. A woman would ask, what do you do? And I would say, I breed spider monkeys. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I breed spider monkeys for the spider monkey porn industry. It's very lucrative. How do you think I got my Porsche, my BMW, etc.? I joke around, okay? And same thing when it comes to cars. Don't blurt out and brag about your car. Let her force that information. What kind of car do you drive? It's a coupe. What kind of coupe? It's a 2-door. Oh, what brand? Okay, it's a BMW. Always be careful with that information. Don't brag. Release information slowly. This is really critical when it comes to past relationships, okay? When I was back on the dating market in my late 30s, I had been divorced. The last thing you want to talk about on a first or a second date is your divorce. Most guys get asked about their divorce, and they're like, oh, that bitch, and they go on to a 10-minute tirade about how much they hate their first wife, what an awful person she was. Don't do that. You're going to turn girls off. They'll ask you, oh, what happened? Avoid the subject. If I have to, I'd say, it didn't work out. What do you mean it didn't work out? Well, she likes the color red. I like the color blue. What? Oh, our biorhythms didn't match. This is an old example. I go, I like Star Trek. She likes Star Wars. You can think of a more current example, but don't get into the details. You'll only turn her off. Nothing good will happen from you talking about your past relationship. Now, what I would also do is I would turn that back on her. So I'd say, well, why didn't your marriage work? Why didn't your relationships work? And I would get her talking. If she is talking and you are listening, her interest level is going to go up. That's another thing I want to talk about. The purpose of the first few 2 or 3 dates is one and only one thing. You want to increase her interest level. Interest level is simply a way of measuring how much she loves you, how much she likes you. You meet a girl, you successfully open her, and you say it goes well, and she gives you her number. Well, her interest level is now 55%. You engage in some clever texting with her. You wait a couple days to contact her. Ideally, you get her on the phone after 3 days. Her interest now is about 60%. You have a funny little quick conversation with her on the phone. Ask her out for a date. She says yes. Now her interest is 65%. You go out on that date. You do the things I teach you to do. You keep it light. You keep it funny. You keep her talking about her. You don't share any information about yourself. Suddenly her interest is up in the 70%. You give her a nice kiss on the lips. We don't pursue sex the first date, guys. We do not pursue sex. That's a way, again, of turning a girl off. Yes, sometimes it'll happen, but that's not our primary goal on the first date. I always coach guys, wait till the third date before we go for sex. Matter of fact, we don't even go for sex. What we do is we continuously raise her interest level, and by the third date, she's going to really be liking you. Her interest level is going to be up around 87, 88% because you keep doing things right. You don't make mistakes. Now she really likes you. When a woman really likes you, she's going to want to have sex with you. So if you do everything right, the sex is going to take care of itself. So again, we keep raising her interest levels. Open. Get that phone number. Get that date. Get that kiss. Action date. We avoid heavy topics. Okay? Any woman you meet does not need to know your life story. Your girlfriend, your romantic interest is not your therapist. Save your mommy stuff for the therapist. I've talked before about 12-step groups and other ways of getting sober and all that. Those are all great things, but they're not good at getting a woman to love you. Women love you because they're curious about you. The less information you give, the more curious they become. The more curious they become, the more they love you. Now down the road, 4 years into my marriage, I share some of my mommy interests, mommy things with my wife. We're raising a son and that stuff comes up, but I still don't dwell on it. Even 4, 10, 18 years into a marriage, a lot of time talking about these things do not do your relationship any good. So as a general rule, don't treat your girlfriend, don't treat your wife like a therapist. Always, like I said, guys, it's always about raising her interest. Okay, so there's one last thing I want to talk about. What makes all of this easier is having options. Okay, we call this spinning plates. When you're spinning multiple plates, when you have many phone numbers, when you're dating other women, when you have other women that are interested in you, it's much easier to do all the right things with a new gal. So I talk about this. We're always opening women. That's why we're always getting phone numbers. We're constantly hustling. We're constantly getting new dates. So ideally, after you've been working my program for a while and you've gotten good at it, you're now dating 2 women a week. So when you meet that new gal, if she shoots you down, it's not the end of the world. You're relaxed. It's the same thing in martial arts. I was watching a great Muay Thai fight last night. This guy named Rod Tang. He is just so calm and so relaxed that he just destroys everyone because he's relaxed. He knows he's good. Okay? So dating other women, spinning plates, gives you that confidence and gives you that relaxation. Okay, guys. So again, on our early dates, we must avoid making mistakes. On our early dates, it's all about raising a woman's interest level. So again, guys, please, if you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. We need to build a strong community of men who know how to get women to fall in love with them. That's the solution to a lot of the world's problems, and we need to get good at it.